What an asshole!
Podcasting from Basshole Studios in Hollywood, California. You're listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one, so let's talk about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole, sir.
He's an asshole.
Hey everyone, welcome to I'm an Asshole. My name's Doug Bass. You guys are here enjoying the show. We thank you for tuning in. As always, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, on the YouTube channel at Doug Bass Comedy, Spotify, all those good places. We appreciate it. We have a great show today. Our guest today is David Schoner. David works at the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission in New Jersey. I've known him since I was in high school. He's a producer. He is a great guy. His new project is Arthur Futuro. It's a half-hour comedy series about a middle school student who, my dogs are going to bark, of course, and ruin this. It's all good. All right, we'll get into that in a little bit. David, how are you?
Hey, Doug, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you. I haven't talked to you in a while.
It's been a while. How are you holding up during everything's going on in LA?
You know what? We're doing our best here. Everything's kind of shut down here. I know things in New Jersey might be more open than they are here.
A little more open, yeah. But, yes, they are.
LA is very dark. I know you've been here, multiple times, and if you saw it during this condition right now, you'd be a little surprised. I think it's very weird, very dark place. It's kind of like out of a movie.
Well, maybe it's a little Jokerish.
It is. Yeah. Speaking of Joker shot in New Jersey, right? Newark, New Jersey.
For 10 days.
Right.
They used Newark. They used downtown Newark and created a Gotham City.
Right. So you work for the New Jersey Film Commission, which you organize all the shooting of movies, TV, commercial that goes on in the state of New Jersey for the most part. Is that correct?
Yes, I am the associate director of the New Jersey Film Commission, and I kind of describe my position as boots on the ground. I'm the moderator, mediator, arbiter that go between film companies and local entities within the state. And the job is just to make stuff happen and facilitate it.
Right. It's an important job. Filmmaking started in New Jersey. So being from New Jersey, we're always very proud of that, I would say. And it was also great meeting you in high school because you got me on like my first like real film set.
That's right.
It was a Harrison Ford movie called Random Hearts. No one really saw it. No one saw it, but it was cool to like just be there. You're in high school and all of a sudden you're like eating lunch next to Harrison Ford and Sidney Pollack, and you're like
Sidney Pollack. Yes, like, we waited in the lunch line with him.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And I always remember it. It was a great moment for me, and getting on the set of The Sopranos, all that kind of stuff. Like it was just like an awesome experience. Like you always bending over to just be like, come on the set, come on, hang out, like learn, meet these people, learn, just hang out. As a kid, you're like, oh, this is amazing. It's Hollywood East, New Jersey.
It is. The biggest thing I find, Doug, all the time is that at least when I was trying to break into the film industry or do something in entertainment, let's just go entertainment, is that no one would give you the opportunity. No one would give you that time of day. And I always tried to, as I went through my career, is to try to correct that. And it was amazing when I met you in high school and you I could see you had this amazing talent. You had this amazing desire and passion. And I was like, yeah, someone's got to give him opportunity because they don't do that. People just don't give opportunities.
That's true. And I've always appreciated that. And it was always an interesting learning experience. Just every time you'd step on set as a kid, even if you weren't doing anything, you're just hanging around watching people, make these films and, top actors at their craft. Not many people have access to that at a young age like that. So it was very cool, and I always appreciated it. So filmmaking is back in New Jersey now. There was kind of a dead lull for a while when what's his name, Chris Christie was in office, right? So now
previous administration.
So now it's thriving again, right? Like things are filming everywhere in New Jersey.
It is on fire. The great thing is that when Governor Murphy, one of the things he promised when he was running for office, and now that he is the governor of the state, is he passed a film and TV tax incentive. And that is, as you know, that is what drives filmmakers to come to your state and want to film in your state. If you don't have an incentive, you will not get the volume of film production that an industry needs to sustain itself.
Right. And you guys have top movies, top actor. Steven Spielberg was there filming his West Side Story remake, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Commercials. You're having commercials shot at Cedar Grove High School, where I went to school. Now that's yes. become like a little Tyler Perry studio almost in a sense. I would say. That's amazing. Like that, all these things are shooting at the high school now. I find that very, very cool.
Well, the great thing about filming in our, the school district and the high school is that the administration gets it, the superintendent gets it, and obviously we're always balancing students' needs and what is going on with the kids. It's always about that. And there's always opportunities to make money, because what we do is when we do these things at the high school and in other schools in the district is we buy stuff that the Board of Ed, or do stuff for the kids that the Board of Ed can't afford to pay for, that there's no money for. And so just to go beat this up a little bit more is we brought in female empowerment program for all the young ladies at the high school another time. We buy Unity Day t-shirts so that everyone can be together and be supportive of each other. We will buy water fountains because, these water fountains, these water filtration fountains are expensive. Yeah. And so all this stuff pays for it, and little breakfasts prior to obviously the pandemic. So it's a great way to fund stuff in the district where there is no money for it.
That's great, especially replacing water fountains in the high school. I mean, like everyone wants filtered water now. I remember drinking out of those things, and you literally have to put your lips on the thing to get a drop of water. So that's
no
good.
More.
No more. No. Yeah. So that's great. And this is kind of, I would guess that this is the first time that this is kind of something like this is happening. Like, extra money coming in from film production at the school directly, and then being deposited, being dispersed in different ways to buy things for the school that they weren't able to afford, or everyone would have to vote on, and some people wouldn't agree, and then it wouldn't pass or whatever. So this is like a first time thing, I would think, for the high school.
It is, and it's kind of a radical thing because film companies need to film in schools, and that's part of the content, whether it's story-wise or not, whether it's a commercial, and it's a great opportunity to do things for the kids. That's the biggest thing. We're always about, if we get money, what can we do for the kids?
Right.
And I want to just note for your listeners that if they're tuning into Apple TV Little America, the episode with the Indian kid who's doing a spelling bee, that is all Cedar Grove High School.
What's it called?
It's called Little America. It's
Little
an Apple
America.
TV series, Little America, and it's an anthology show. There's 8 episodes, and I believe the first or second episode takes place, because it's different kids, immigrant stories, different ethnicities, and the kid that is in Cedar Grove High School is an Indian kid who lives in Utah, because the story takes place in Utah.
I'll have to check that out.
It's a spelling bee, and all the school is Cedar Grove High School.
That's awesome. All right, I'll have to look that out. Is there anything ever? Here's a question for you. Is there anything ever that comes across your desk as far as like, we want to film this in Cedar Grove High School, or is there a project that would come to you that, like, say it's like a horror movie and it's like a controversial script or whatever? Does it have to be approved by like the school and being like, this is a movie where someone's killing people in the school or whatever, and it's like we don't want that shooting here, like, you know what I mean? Because like there's certain folklore that could take over if the movie's a hit, blah blah blah. Is that anything that you ever think about, something like that?
Yeah, we're a public school system, and we're always conscious of content. It's not about censoring at all per se, but it's about content, and it's a public school system. And you have to remember that whatever we're doing on a filming basis wise is at the level of expectation that rises to properness of our school district. Right. And as a state film commissioner, obviously I would recommend multiple places to them to go, whether it's our district or a private school. But, most of the times public school districts, there's a public responsibility, a public code of conduct. And so we really try to follow that depending on what is going on. And even on the simpler level, it's just bad karma. So depending on what it is.
So if they want to come film, Scream 10 at Cedar Grove High School, it's not going to happen, probably.
Not going to happen. But,
unless the check is, here you go.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll recommend, I can recommend at least 50 private schools that may love it, or a closed school.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
They can go to town on it.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I used to shoot my little crappy movies in Cedar Grove High School, and just they're horrible. But yeah, it's a good place to. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything. I would say. I haven't been there in I don't know how many years, but I'm sure everything is updated and whatnot now. So I'm sure it's looking great. Cool. So let's talk about your project Arthur Futuro. So this is a half-hour comedy series that you've produced. It's about a middle school student, Arthur Futuro, who's told by his future self that he has to change things in the present to save his friends. And as things are altered, comic mayhem ensues. So tell us how now this pilot has gotten into numerous festivals. What is the latest one that it's in?
So the latest one we're in is the Garden State Film Festival, which is New Jersey based. And the great thing about the Garden State Film Festival this year is they've actually added a sixth day. And we are balancing, obviously, hybrid, in person and virtual. And so the wonderful thing about the sixth day is we're going to be screening a kids block at the Cranford Theater in Cranford. And so obviously following all capacity limits, it's going to be great to have it actually screened in the theater because it's the perfect age for young people. This film is the perfect age for them. And it's going to be fun to have it actually seeing the movie live.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, again, I don't know if my audience is the correct audience for this show per se, but if they have kids, it's definitely something that they might want to put on their radar when it comes out. Have you done live screenings with children, teenagers? Are they loving it when they watch it?
They love it. The show is made, the Arthur Futuro is made for tweens, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right. It's a very specific audience. And the content of the show, even though we only filmed the pilot, is serialized. Mm-hmm. So that means that each episode adds up to another episode and to a conclusion. And one of the things we did that is because it really would be something that ultimately they may binge on a particular streaming service, depending on what it is. We did play at a drive-in theater in Van Nuys.
That's right. And I was disappointed because I was not in town. I was in Florida getting COVID when that happened, so I wasn't able to go see it because I still haven't seen it. So I do want to see it because it does look very well produced and well done and everything. And it was shot in Cedar Grove High School, I'm guessing. Yes.
Yeah, Cedar Grove High School and also in Cedar Grove Middle School. And one of the things we did, obviously, is I donated a sofa and big screen TV to the Cedar Grove teachers so that in their lounge they can actually have something proper and very, very dignified.
Look at that, very nice. Who is the breakout star of this show? Is it the actor that plays young Arthur?
Yeah, he's more or less the breakout. Yeah, he's probably
Eric
the breakout
Ronan.
Star.
Is that his name?
Yes, Eric's talented. This was made 3 years ago because the process is very long and time consuming.
So he's an adult now.
He's a young man. He's a young man, and but all the four kids are really right. And then there's a fifth kid who's Sophia. They're really all very very talented. Came with it. They're all the interesting comedian that plays future Arthur is a guy named Jimmy Loran who actually lives in California.
Oh, does he?
And
cool.
Yeah, and so when through the magic of filmmaking, we were out in California when we filmed him out there, and then through technology threw him on the smartboard in the film.
Oh, really? So wait, he plays a teacher?
He actually plays future Arthur.
Arthur.
Jimmy
okay.
Yeah, Jimmy lives in California. He plays future Arthur, and I cast him from a previous project we were working on. And so when I was out in California, because I come out so much, I taped him with my DP out in California, and obviously digitally we put him on the smartboard in the classroom.
I want to see how that was done. That sounds cool.
It's pretty cool.
Is he in scenes by himself, or he's like integrated into the other scenes? Like
he's integrated into the scene. So whenever the young Arthur is in the classroom talking to the smartboard, talking to him future self, Jimmy is on the smartboard in the classroom.
Okay, cool. All right, very cool. So it was doable as far as special effects. It wasn't too crazy as far as you trying to do green screen with him and placing him.
That would have been a lot. No.
I do love the aspect of this because it's kind of like, I don't know if it's a time travel kind of sense, but there is the future self that he's talking to. And,
yes.
I'm a big fan of Back to the Future and any kind of future related stuff. So I like. Well,
one of the things we wanted to really convey is that we talk about this all the time as adults. Well, if I could change that, if I can go back and change something, but we don't realize. And one of the themes of it as kids, and it's about kids, and it's also geared towards kids, is that you don't realize that if you change the bad thing that happened in the past, it also alters all the good stuff that happened as well, because it changes the entire dynamic of all the relationships.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the themes.
It definitely. Now if this gets picked up, or you guys are obviously talking to people trying to sell this thing.
Yes.
This gets picked up. They want to go to series with it, whatnot. Eric is now 15 or whatever. Like, do you guys have to recast the whole show? Do you have to reshoot? Like, how does that work? Or do we just accept that he's 18 now and we just go with it?
At the end of the day, it really would depend on the streaming service or the network or whoever decided they wanted to pick it up. It would depend on what their vision is. And, the great thing about this business is, it's always a collaborative effort. That. So everything is collaborative. So depending on what the distribution company wanted, we would address it. I'd love to keep the kids in some capacity in the production, even the adults. I want to keep everyone as much as I possibly can. And maybe it's they're as cameos, or maybe they're playing a different role, something like that. That would be really fun as a homage to the original pilot. So definitely.
Yeah. The kids always kind of fall into that category. If it doesn't happen like right away, then it's like we gotta get you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, best of luck with Arthur Futuro. I'm looking forward to seeing it. What is the next project? Are you working on anything else currently, producing wise?
Absolutely. The next project is we recently won a pitch contest at the Sterable Film Festival, and we are working on the deck for that, and also working on having a short film. We're going to take the whole series, it's a series, and have it combine it, kind of condense it down into an 8 to 15 minute short film. So as a way of getting attraction to it and bringing attention to it, is we figure we're going to film a short film of the condensed version of the series. Obviously, it'll just focus on a particular moment in time in the series, but very talented writer up in Toronto is actually working on it right now.
Oh, very cool. Sounds great. And how is everything going in Cedar Grove, New Jersey? That's our town that I'm from, and where you reside. Is it snowing still?
It's snowing outside. For the 57,000th time. We've we really haven't gotten a lot of snow over the last couple of years, as you know. Yeah. And so now we're going to throw the pandemic in, and then throw maybe 5 or 6 snowstorms into the equation.
It is weird when it doesn't, because I've gone back a couple of years and I'm like, isn't it supposed to be snowing by now? And then it doesn't snow that year, and you're like, and then when it hits you, you're not prepared for it. You're like, oh my god, like that was like us last year in LA with rain. It was very rainy last winter, and it was a mess. I'm not comparing it to snow, obviously, but it's the same kind of thing for us.
Yeah, but come on, when LA gets hit with a lot of rain, because it's not usual, it's not normal for you guys to get saturated.
We're not prepared for it. No, everyone goes nuts. No one leaves the house. It's like the world is ending or something.
I will tell you, you're horrific. Your LA drivers, I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. Your LA drivers are horrific in the rain. It's like a complete freak out. Yeah.
Well, even like it rained like 2 weeks ago, and I started driving and I put my windshield wipers on. And then I noticed that there was something weird with my windshield wipers, like they were off-centered or something. Like I still got to get them fixed, but I was like, I haven't used these in a year almost. Like I was like, it's like I didn't notice that they were broken, and now like I'm like, I got to get that fixed. And then someone's like, do you really? It's like you use them like 4 times a year, now? And it's like it's good enough.
You got to use them occasionally, Doug.
I know.
Come on.
I use them to clean the thing. Yeah, but like when you put them on for like 20 minutes,
2 seconds.
That's when I started noticing. I'm like, these are broken. Like there's something wrong with them. That's what happened. Yeah. Cedar Grove. I hear the Pilgrim Diner is making a comeback. I read an article about that.
It is. I forget exactly what they're turning it into, but it was vacant for like years.
Yeah.
I would say 2 or 3 years, and now it's massive construction going on.
If people
I'm
don't,
really excited about
if
it.
people don't know what the Pilgrim Diner is in Cedar Grove, New Jersey, I would compare it as the Hollywood meetup spot of where deals are happening. This is where Dave might go to talk about the sequel to Minimal Knowledge or something.
That's right.
Which is another film he has produced. It's a local diner. It's been there forever, but it's gone through stages of questionable times and good times, and now it's making a comeback.
A lot of rebirthing going on in that thing. Yeah, that diner. Yes.
Have businesses in Cedar Grove been affected by the pandemic? Have you seen things closed down? That kind of thing.
Luckily, no one has closed down. The pandemic is rough all over. It was tough here. It's tough all over the country. And I think during the really bad time in March until July, I know that we would try to order out as much as we possibly can within reason. I mean, obviously, things are we know more now than we knew back then, but we were always very careful about stuff. But we would try to order out at least twice a week to support them. So we've been lucky, but I know a lot of other businesses, when you drive around town, not necessarily in town, but you drive on the highway, a lot of other businesses have not been lucky. And in malls out here, it's really sad. The stores that have closed.
Yeah.
No.
Malls were kind of dead before the pandemic, I think, with everyone shopping online, and like you almost would go just to be like, oh yeah, let me see what's in a store window for a change.
Right.
It's a weird premise to a lot of people now, I would think. But I'm hoping everything bounces back to what it should be once this is over. So you want to help out the small businesses for sure. All right, Dave. So this is called the I'm an A-hole podcast.
Yes.
What I do now is I ask all my guests if there was a time in your life or a moment or a situation you found yourself in that either you were an a-hole, it could be an isolated incident, maybe a chunk of time in your life, maybe someone was one to you and you don't agree, and maybe they thought you were one or you witnessed one, anything along those lines. Do you have a moment that you would like to share with the show?
So actually I do. So I was going to a meeting in Hillsborough, New Jersey, which is central Jersey. And I stopped at a nationally chained coffee shop to get some coffee. And so I'm online. It's a pretty long line. And there was a young man who was ahead of me who you could tell was special needs. There was an issue, and I'm not making light of that.
Right.
And you could tell he was special needs, and he was buying one of those, pressed juices, those pressed juices things. And he didn't have enough money. He only had, I forget what the amount was, and he wanted to buy it. And the woman behind the counter was, saying you don't have enough money, was not selling it to him. And it was very obvious there was an issue. And so I was just like, just give him the juice, right, or just throw the money in or take it out of the tip jar. And we're going back and forth a little bit. I was being calm. And that, the clerk was like, no, I'm not doing that. And so I was like, you're being an asshole. I'll just buy the young man the juice. Give it to me. She's like, well, no. I said, no, give him the juice, give him a couple juices, and let him, I'll buy him. Well, I'm like, it's like,
all right, Dave's buying.
Just give him the juice.
Dave's buying. Everyone grab a juice, and Dave's buying. All right.
So that clerk was an asshole, and I bought the juice for the young man because obviously you just shouldn't just give it to him.
How much short are we talking here? Do you know how much short?
I think it was like $2 or $3 short. So
$2 or $3
juices are expensive.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're expensive. Yeah. The press and the
so
he's
picking up one of these green juices and handing her $1 or something.
Yes.
And then it's like
$7. Yes, exactly. Yeah. He did. He had way not enough money. And it would be a different story if it was a person who was not easily identifiable as a special needs person. This was easily identifiable.
He either did not, understand how much it was, or obviously didn't have enough, or whatever. Now, I could see that. And now, to take her side for a moment,
Yep.
It's her job. She's maybe not
She's
not a manager per se.
Yeah, fair enough.
So do you think she's thinking I might be fired if I throw in $5 and the drawer is short or whatever? We only have $5 in the tip jar. It's already noon, and I'm out of here in an hour. I didn't make any money now. So it's
she's probably and back then she was probably making whatever bare maybe minimum wage, maybe a little bit more.
Right.
It wasn't going through my brain, but I maybe everyone behind the counter should chip in $1 each and let this
at this point there's a line, and everyone here can afford it.
There was a line. It was a commotion. Like she was bringing a commotion to it, but obviously we are not moving as fast as we should be moving, and also it was very slow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. I definitely have purchased it's like I've been in line at a McDonald's or something like that, and there's a homeless person behind me, and I'm just I'm like, what do you want? And buy him a burger or whatever. That kind of. And
I will tell you, Doug. Also, I've done I'll be outside someplace, whether it's a convenience store or something like that, and somebody's asking me for money, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to give you money. Is there something you want? Yes, I'd like a cup of coffee or a sandwich. Absolutely, come on in.
I agree.
I will buy it for you. Not a problem. I don't want to give you money.
Yeah, I agree with doing that. I don't like giving them money, but buying a sandwich or something like that. But here in LA, you buy them a sandwich, and then they're like, "Oh, is this gluten or is this?" They get very picky with what you're buying, and it's like, you want it or not?
Yes.
Or you are at a McDonald's, organic. You know what they have here.
Yes. Or is it organic? Is it
organic? Yeah. Can I get the combo with it? Come on, man. All right. Well,
do you remember when McDonald's, when they used to have the hot and cold? The hot stayed hot, the cold stayed cold, and you would push it together. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, because it's like you don't want to hold up the line, and it could have been the barista's first day, or who knows.
A lot. It could have been a lot of factors, and that's why I'm almost hesitant. But there's a lot of issues.
It's good that you didn't cause a commotion over it. You just handled it. And you took care of the situation. You got the line moving. You got the young man his juice. And it was all resolved within moments.
It was
good thinking on your part. I would say.
Yeah, and why not? Feel good for the day. Do the right thing. Pay it forward, because at some point you may need it paid forward.
Exactly, and that is it's a very specific kind of asshole story, I would say, because you are thinking that the barista is being a little bit of one, and you almost don't want to create other assholes from showing up, because there is going to be that guy in the line, 2 people behind you that's like, hurry up, come on, I'm late, and now he's an asshole because of this whole, so it's like it kind of multiplies. Like if people are rushing, it's a morning kind of thing. People are waiting to get their coffee and whatnot. It's a good thing that you stepped in there and saved the day as far as.
You make a good point, because it does multiply.
It does. It's the same thing as being in traffic, or like lately I've had the situation when you're in a parking garage and you're trying to leave and you got to pay to get out or validate the ticket, and then the thing doesn't work, and you're the asshole at the gate, and there's 20 cars behind you. And it's not working. This has happened to me twice in the past 6 months, I think, where I've had to press the call button, and then the person has to come down and open the gate, and everyone behind you is just pissed off.
You theoretically are the one.
Right.
Everyone's waiting for you.
Everyone's waiting for me, but I'm like, why isn't this stupid gate working? I paid the thing, I paid the ticket, or I put my card in, and it won't read it now. There's some kind of mechanical error. But I can't blame it on the machine being the asshole. I'm the asshole because I haven't figured out how to do it.
And when you back up,
you can't back up.
You poke your tires. You rip your tires.
You can't even back up because there's cars behind you already. They're all waiting to get out. So everyone's got to back out. But then the guy comes down to fix the thing, and he's not the asshole because he's just but he won't even let you go. He'll be like, it's $5, and it's like, well, I only have my card. I've been in the thing where I'm like, I have my car. I have $1. Or I have my card.
Or
what do you want?
Yes.
What's going to work out? I've gotten into arguments with these gate people.
Well, I'm a joke. They joke, whenever I go out with folks, I'm always putting it on the card. I'll always use a debit card. And they're like, you never carry cash. And I'm like, no.
Cash is out
the debit
now.
card.
Cash is
out. It's gone.
People don't want it.
During the pandemic.
Oh, people don't want it because of the pandemic. Even tipping people, it's like, here's my Venmo, and you press the thing. And it's like, people would rather have that now than a $5 bill or whatever. And I get it because
I agree. Yes.
It's dirty and you don't want to, touch it and get a disease and whatnot. You gotta be careful, Here's a question for you that I'd like to ask you.
Sure.
Since you are a movie producer, movie buff, we both love the movies. What movie character would you most like to be like, if you could be?
Wow. Holy guacamole. Jeez. I would probably say my movie character would be Jimmy Stewart in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Jimmy Stewart and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. All right, that's interesting. I don't think I've seen that. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
He's a legislator, and he has to do a filibuster to get his point across on the issue that he believes in so dearly. And, if you know anything about our legislature, our government, the filibuster, and he talks, I forget how long he talks for, but he talks for a really long time to convince the rest of the Senate to see his way on an issue. And so I would say that's probably my biggest movie character, is because when I'm passionate about something or believe in something, a lot of times you have to convince everybody to go along with doing the right thing and the belief.
That is interesting. It's an interesting choice. I will have to watch that. I haven't seen it, but when you think about it, you are part of the Board of Ed in Cedar Grove. You are passionate about getting projects done, producing movies, getting things done for the school. So you do have to convince and talk to people and make your point
all the time.
So that's an interesting choice. Yeah, if you relate to him in that way, I can see that. As an inspiration of sorts, going after your dream projects, movies, or Board of Ed, or just being the man of Cedar Grove that you are. I would say you are the face. I think you are the face of Cedar Grove right now. You are.
I don't know about that.
If there was a CNN in Cedar Grove, a local news. I don't even know if the local Channel 20 or whatever it is now is still up and running, but. I feel like you would be on there every night, as a correspondent or something.
The beautiful thing about technology, my friend, is there's so many ways you can get stuff to kids and to the community about things. And, it's always about being positive because, we talk about social media. The bad thing is everyone just vents.
Right.
And it's like a lot harder to be positive about all the wonderful things that are going on. So, yeah. So Channel 20
that's true.
Channel
20 was the public access channel in Cedar Grove, kind of like where you would find your Wayne's World. I used to try to get shows on there as a teenager. This is way before YouTube and anything, obviously, because now Channel 20 is obsolete, I would think. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun just trying to do productions and stuff like that. I remember.
And if you remember, my friend, that we took it off of. You stole the idea. Not stole the idea. I actually borrowed the idea from the producer of Dan Farah, who went to Maplewood South Orange School District, who also produced Ready Player One, one of my interns.
Right.
We did a music video show. Remember, we would host the music video show. We would edit all the music videos
somehow
together.
You had gotten all these either beta or VHSs of Will Smith's new music video or something. And, and we were trying to shoot segments around town and then do our own TRL or whatever, kind of thing.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
I think we did a couple episodes.
You were the host.
I was the host.
Yes, we did.
And we would go to the local new lunch spot that just opened up and promoted, and then cut to Will Smith getting jiggy with it. Which now looking back, it's like I don't know what the audience was, but
but give yourself credit here though. public access was the place you went to get stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not like, people think we have YouTube and obviously every social media platform possible to get information. But back then, if you wanted to know about schools closing outside of a telephone chain, you went to a public access channel.
It was amazing for me just being involved in that, because I used to make these like little films in high school, editing on 2 VCRs and a couple audio video wires and a character generator that was a piece of shit.
That's right.
And it was I was like, this is amazing. I can put music and titles on this. And then I would make this film, and then I remember trying to get permission to show one of them on Channel 20, the one I made about suicide, which was like, it was a drama, but it was like, there was an important, information at the end of it. There was a point of view, a story to tell, an awareness, and somehow they were like, yeah, you could show it on Channel 20, and I was like, okay, awesome. And I think I had like 2 showings, like Thursday and Friday night, 7 o'clock. So I would like press the play on the tape, and then I'd like be like, oh my god, it's live right now across the whole town, and maybe the next town. And it's like, I don't know, I never got, I don't know who's watching it. You weren't able to get stats or anything like that, but it's like, it's like, oh, this is more people that can see it. And now you just have YouTube, which you just throw it up and you get, 1 million views if you're lucky.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So and you don't need anyone's permission.
No, times have changed for sure. And it's so interesting being a part of that, because these kids these days, now I sound old, they'll never know what that is like, or have that kind of experience as far as, trying to get things out there. Is they have everything on their phone, tip of a, press a button and it's out there. So
and Doug, and think about, you really had to be dedicated. Well, we were. You really had to be dedicated to doing it, because it was a process.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't like an easy process. It was a pain in the butt process in getting it done.
Yeah, you really wanted to. You had to have really wanted to do it, because it was like, I'm going to shoot this stuff, and then I'm going to edit, like editing with the 2 VCRs or like the deck that they had down there. Like that was so much work. And it was like,
it was a lot of work.
It was easier because you had like a machine helping you. But like now it's like everyone has Final Cut and a Mac, and you make a movie, and you make a movie. You don't even have to know what you're doing. Yeah. You watch a YouTube video, you know what you're doing. It's a different world, and
very different world, totally different.
I only imagine what it would be like if we grew up with the technology that we have now, as the filmmakers, that we are, having that power at a young age. I missed it by 15 years, I'd say.
Yeah, that's about right. Yes.
I always joke, because going to college and studying filmmaking, I was like the last era of like using film, splicing it, cutting it. Like I learned how to do that, and then like the next year when I left and graduated, everything was digital. And I was like, wow, I have to relearn. Everything I just learned is so obsolete. And while we love film and stuff like that, but it's the how you make movies is, the technology of it is radically shifted. Yeah, if you want to splice and cut things together, you're doing it as a hobby these days.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Well, Dave, the way we end this show is most people just state their name and they say, "I'm an asshole," and then you go in peace. You've redeemed yourself. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's all in jest.
I know. Okay. My name is David Schoner, and I'm an asshole.
There you go, folks. Dave Schoner. He's redeemed himself. He's an asshole.
Oh, jeez.
But we love him.
Boy.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. Well, Dave, I want to thank you for taking the time today and being on the show. I appreciate it. His Arthur Futuro, folks, check this out when it comes out. If you have kids, you're going to want to sit them down and watch it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dave is working on multiple productions in New Jersey that are coming through there. And if you are lucky enough to drive through Cedar Grove, New Jersey, you might see him. Look for the man with the great mustache that is Mr. Cedar Grove himself, Dave Schoner. All right, Dave, anything else you want to put out there?
No,
where can people follow you on social media? Are you on there?
So they can follow. I'm on Twitter, DWSCHONER on Twitter, and on Instagram, I'm Jersey Movie Man. So Jersey with a Z. So
there you go. Jersey
there you go.
Jersey with a Z.
Yeah.
That's what I used too when I had named my Jerseyite Productions back in the day.
Yeah, just like let's make it a little different.
Yeah,
there you go.
You gotta stand out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Well, Dave Schoner, thanks for coming on. Folks, make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts. The YouTube channel is at Doug Bass Comedy. And follow us on Instagram at Asshole Podcast and at Doug Bass Comedy. Remember, folks, don't be an a-hole. But if you are, talk about it and laugh about it. My name's Doug Bass. Dave Schoner has been with us today. We will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye.